Wait for a little message.
Hi, everyone. Happy
Hello.
Friday. Happy early Mother's Day to both of you and to all the moms listening. Happy Mother's Day, Michelle. I'm sure Michelle's going to hear this at some point. Happy Mother's Day. How are you ladies doing? Any fun Mother's Day plans?
No, I have 2 grown boys. Oh, actually, I'll start because it could play into something that we can all do together. Matthew was saying he's the oldest child, that they're going to celebrate in Vegas with Danny's family. And that when he comes back, one of the things he wants to do is take me to a women's soccer game. So I'm going to talk to him to see if it's something worth like maybe getting, like whoever is around, if you're in town, Sarah, like, to go. Cause it was cute. Cause he's like, I think it might be good for your podcast,
Aww.
So as it's a women's event, and he's been hearing that it's really good. And I think Christine was saying like, doesn't Evan go? I think Evan goes to women's.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of friends with season tickets to Angel City FC.
Yeah.
Sounds great if they could all wear knife shoes.
So there's some big event or something coming in, in the summer. So it's like June 3rd, it's like Matthew's birthday. So around there, he was saying. So I'll get more details from him about that. But when he's in town, because they finished up finals, they're in Vegas, and stuff. So I'll be like, if I get a text, but as I'm talking with other moms with smaller children, as Sarah, I guess one of the things we used to really want most is just to sleep in or peace and quiet or girl time, mom time kind of thing. So I do enjoy that now.
Yes. My Mother's Day the last few years, it's been amazing. And I think Steve has just accepted is that they leave me alone. I'm in our bed all day and I get to watch, whatever I want. So I'm just catching up on a show. Maybe I've been meaning to watch, or a movie I've been meaning to watch, or reading, or all of it, or sleep, or all of those things. And then they usually like bring me breakfast in bed, and then I'll have to get up for like dinner or something. There was talk last night of going for dinner, so I guess I'm gonna have to shower. But yeah, I look forward to that because it's really just a day for me, and I don't get that very often.
And as a dog mom, does Boshi ever let you sleep in?
No, he does not. I don't think he
only
got
when
the memo
there's a sucker sleeping on the couch, like me.
I don't think the dog got the memo. Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that I wish you were both able to do is in May watch a game with one of our teams in it, but unfortunately here we are. So hello everyone, welcome to Double D-Fense episode 30, which is also season 2 episode 1. We are excited to kick off our second season of Double D-Fense. Again, we did think that we would be talking a little bit more about how the Rangers were doing in the playoffs this year, but alas, it was not to be. So we are excited to welcome you to a very special episode of Double D-Fense. Today is actually going to be our first annual Double D-Fense Awards. This is our award show that we've come up with. After a season full of ups and downs, we wanted to look back onto the 2022-2023 season of the New York Rangers, share our top picks for our own very personal award show. Yay! Who needs the Stanley Cup? Who needs the Norris?
I know I have a Canley Cup somewhere. Darn it!
The Canley Cup.
Oh,
you have to describe what a Canley Cup is, because I don't know. I had not seen that before.
It is the best thing. I need more. We need them branded. It looks like a Stanley Cup, and it goes right on top of a can of whatever you're drinking, beer, soda, and you can drink out of it. So I felt like I had let us down. Maybe I should have been drinking out of that while we were playing. I was not.
It was totally your fault.
So,
thanks, Christine.
I take responsibility, for that. Now that I've organized and packed up the majority of my stuff, it's getting ready to get put away into the garage for the summer. I will make sure to make a note of where it is, and I'll have it out and ready to go for next season, so we can build our traditions and keep them consistent.
I love it, and we'll keep blaming you for the reason that the Rangers lost to the Devils. But in positive news, I do want to commend the Hurricanes on knocking out the Devils. That was lovely.
That was a great game.
Lovely. It was great. So bye Devils. There's been so much gloating on social media from Devils fans that even though they lost, they still beat the Rangers, which is just, I don't know, to me, some poor sportsmanship. Like,
So, oh yeah. Well, they're getting. I think. Are you seeing the Canes media and what they've been doing? Like hell froze over. It's fantastic, actually. What
yeah,
they've
there's
done.
good social media for sure.
Yeah, I love that. So, an interesting thing too is, if you watched any of the games, I know we were all watching last night. The it, it's funny how we kind of what we were angry about in what we saw in how we played. I've been not only seeing that in in the Canes Devil series, but in other series too, where you had a couple of teams go really like these games are high scoring, and there's like all these OTs, which is crazy. And to have like a team win 5-1 and then lose 5-1, even like Seattle it's insane, and this is why I love it too. So almost like where we felt like it was just us in a pattern, I'm seeing that with other teams too. So I don't know. I don't know if it takes away, I had kind of a more like kind of rational kind of response to the loss as you did, Liz. I don't know if you're watching the other teams. I know some people are saying it makes them a little bit more upset, but like, how do you feel now about like the second round in looking back and reflecting on kind of how we played versus how the other teams are playing in this next round?
I'm curious to hear Sarah's input on that too, because she's had a different look at at the other teams that have been playing. But everybody's dead to me, so couldn't care, could not care less.
I can say that I'm really surprised in the style. Like, we often talk about how different playoff hockey is. But even knowing that and knowing the teams that have experience in playoff hockey, there's still so many uncertainties. Like, I can't believe the Vegas Edmonton series. I expected Edmonton to show up just dominating, and they have in their moments. They certainly dominated one game in particular, but no, they're not keeping up in the way that I thought they would. And I think same goes for the Seattle Dallas series. Also Toronto Florida, which I think tonight's game 5 and Toronto's probably out, but there's some surprises there, even though we know to expect the unexpected.
Yeah, I think for me, I wanted, I was expecting more even or uneven, not both, not like, so evenly matched, closer scores, driving it out, or, that push and everything seems to be just like they're walking on, uneven boards. It's fascinating to kind of watch. Again, it's a different, one of the things I've loved about doing this for this last year is that perspective. I mean, we keep saying it, it's our perspective, but it also brings other, like watching the game in different ways, too, and how they were doing that. It was interesting last night's game, how they really put so much pressure on Hughes, and he wasn't really performing. And how they blamed TMO Meyer. So I'm like, they didn't blame the guy that got the penalty. They blamed TMO for like missing the shot, So it's been kind of fun, and I love how it never really goes as expected. So, we're all getting ready for next year, and some of our guys have moved on to play for for other teams right now, in the off season, which is great to hear too.
Yeah. At least they're staying busy, and we're excited to kind of look back at the season and just make some judgments. And I will note that this was a completely non-democratic process in terms of deciding who was going to win each award. So buckle up, folks. There might be some drama. Kicking off in just order of importance, we're going to go like super important in terms of playing style, relevance for stats, and importance for winning the cup. Our first award is for the best dressed New York Ranger, and that is dressed off ice. Because we have talked a lot about how this podcast really is trying to look at hockey from a very female point of view, and there's certain things that are important to us. The stats are just as important, but also general overall appearance. We like seeing our players turn up looking very chic and very sharp. So our nominees are Chris Kreider, Mika Zibanejad, and K'Andre Miller. Thoughts, opinions? Are we leaning one way or the other?
I'll pick Mika every time. Like he could wear a paper bag, and
I think he's in the middle. I think there's a clear line, of stuff. I mean,
it's the hair. I love his hair.
And the eyelashes.
I think there's comedy because they all are growing, for him. So he continues to get longer hair, longer eyelashes, and he's got that cute puppy dog face. So, and they have a great role model to follow, so I think with the dressing, competition throughout, not just our team, but the entire NHL league now has risen to so many levels. Because of Henrik, I think he started. I think he has his own clothing line too. I think it's Keandre Miller for sure. I think Chris admits he's not the best dresser, and I think he probably gets help from Mika. So
He definitely gets help from Mika.
I think
Every morning.
Each Maybe you can at least picture that. I'm already doing that.
I have. And yes, the winner is Keandre Miller. Congratulations.
Yay!
He also had helped launch. There was like a New York Rangers style line that like he was helping launch. So he had some really cool stuff that was like very Rangers focused, very not Rangers focused. So he always is like, to me, just the epitome of style. I hope that continues and is as good as his defense next year. But we'll get into that. Our next very important award goes to the worst dressed Ranger. And there are 3 nominees for this category. And three nominees are Artemi Panarin, and Artemi Panarin. Thoughts, opinions? I know Christine. I know he's one of your favorite players. I know Christine has been rocking the Panarin jersey for a long, long time.
I will forever. Well, and that's because I didn't meet him with clothes on. So
I'm sorry.
Just remember that.
Wait, what?
Keep that in mind.
Wait, you didn't have clothes on?
No, I had clothes on.
Oh,
did not.
That's where I went to. I was like, how did that?
Wait, either way, can we take a step back? Can we just hear?
Just a reminder that when I actually met Panarin, it was Toyota Center. It was when I went there to meet Henrik, and he was still new, and he came out of the locker room and he only had his compression shorts on. So he didn't have clothes on. And I looked at him and I said, "Hey, take a picture with me." And he went, "No." I'm like, just from the neck up. And he said, "Okay." So yeah, so I have a great little selfie of the two of us, and he's bare shoulders. He had no clothes on. And then he came out afterward with clothes on. So yes, he will remain one of my favorites because of that moment. So,
you'll have to post that picture. I think maybe you've posted it before, but that one needs a repost.
Yeah, and it's funny because he ducked right as the picture came, so it's like he went from here to here. So I have the chain because I have it like. And then when he came out, I said, "I get you with clothes on now," which is great. And then the best part was, I think that night I went to the Kings game, and I have this great picture of him looking at me like, like it's you.
He remembered you from.
Yeah, I have the whole line of the pictures, which is still one of my favorites. So, and he's one of the sweetest people, but I think he is deserving of the award compared to his line mates and teammates.
Yeah, I encourage everyone if you're bored
headband
because there's no New York Rangers hockey to watch. Just go have a look back. There's some of the Rangers like Instagram photos, and Panarin is always like the one wearing a jacket like 3 sizes too big. Like he just needs a little bit. He just needs a little style help.
What was it was All-Star game where it had the 3 of them, and one of them, where all their styles were different. It was like sweats. I mean, they didn't even try to take those pictures. Like,
oh, that's right. I remember that picture. We're like, where are they going? And I think
Panarin was in sweats. Like,
someone looked like they were going to the gym. Yeah. Someone looked like they were going to a wedding, and someone looked like they were going to play hockey. It was so funny. We'll have to post that picture too.
My favorite thing about Panarin are all the bread hats he's inspired. I think that's one of my favorite things watching, especially the little kids. They look so cute with their little, bread hat on. I love it. And I've seen so many different variations of it. It's
and great. The big bread chunky pillows that people bring into games.
Yeah.
It's like the emoji. I think like they get the pillow of the bread emoji, which is just perfect.
Yeah.
And I think Liz, we need that around your house with just other faces. It's just inspiring me to decorate in other ways. So
Well,
maybe that should be our Christmas present is like, pillows with our faces on it to give to all your wonderful friends.
we'll get you like a step and repeat, just like your friend with the office that you were just talking about for the DIY thing. We'll get you a step and repeat wall, and we'll just like maybe we'll have like Panarin hats or whatever. Like, yeah, it'd be funny.
I love it. I should change the background and make it just like a giant Panarin picture. We will work on that for later in season 2. Okay, this one is a little bit up for debate. I would love your opinion on this, ladies. Most likely to succeed. I love this category because this is something, I feel like everybody's talked about this since high school. Who is most likely to succeed? And I mean that in terms of, could be an individual, it could be multiple players. And what does succeed mean? Is it who's going to go on to win a cup with the Rangers? Who's going to show up next season and be in a position to really dominate under, as we know, there is going to be a new coach. That person has not been named yet. So what do you think is going to happen? And who do you think is going to stand out?
Well, there's been talk of 2, individuals where they, which is an interesting topic to kind of look more into is, I think they're kind of questioning, are they giving it enough time and coaching to kind of build them up more where I think they have the potential is Lafreniere and Kakko. So, I'm always going to vote for my cutie, which is Capo. So, because there's the potential's there. We kind of saw it in both of them. And there's been talk too of, how much more time do they need? I mean, unfortunately for my little cute blondie, he's being compared to his number 1 pick in the same year of who shall not be named. And so, because then I don't have to hear the name anymore. So take that away and stop comparing. It's like, there were times where we felt he was coming into things. So, where I think Hedel kind of shined a little bit more, so that one, I'm gonna keep my vote on Kakko. That's where I want to see. I want to keep focused on him to kind of, to succeed, so he can win another category next year.
I would agree with you. I think the Rangers coaching left Laffy and Kakko out to dry a little bit, and obviously there's going to be some big changes for next year. So hopefully, under the right tutelage of the right coach, these guys can start to shine. I think Hedel had a good regular season. I don't think he had a great postseason, but I think most likely to succeed, I think under a new coach, would be Kakko.
I think Hedel wins. I don't think we have an award for this, but on the side, he should win the happiest smile when I score award. He really did have the best face ever. Every time.
I want to ask Sarah something. I know, Sarah, you follow a lot of coaches and sort of like the different mindsets that different coaches bring to the table. What do you think about just development of players in general? Are there certain coaches who have been good at it? How are the Penguins at it? Under Sullivan. What are your thoughts?
Great question. Player development, I think, is obviously really important, and I think different coaches put that at a different level of priority. It's definitely not the same approach, I think, that it used to be, say, maybe even 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago. I think it's really changed. I like to say, like, Paul Maurice, his style, and listening to him talk the last week or so, you could really tell that he's in touch with what's going on. I mean, take a team like Florida where nobody anticipated them to get this far. I think I certainly didn't. And he's been around the league for a while, but he's involved with his players. He's obviously putting player development at the forefront. I think mental health is a big thing that probably doesn't get talked about enough in this game. He seems like he's on that page with them. And he seems like he has obviously the coach and that stance, that power and leadership with them. But he also seems like he's got that, I don't want to say the friend element because nobody wants to hear that from a coach, but he certainly has that caring place that I don't think we see so much in like a Gallant or Sutter. John Tortorella comes to mind. I love him. But these are things, qualities and traits that are missing from coaches that I think we grew up with, or that, come to mind from certainly the 90s onward.
And especially the younger guys, I would imagine, like the mental health thing that you mentioned, like that has to be huge. There is so much pressure on these guys, and they're young. They're young. Very young.
Yep.
It's a lot to take on.
For sure. And like Jay Whitcroft, who's the coach for Edmonton, I don't know much about him, but I like him. And anytime I see him being interviewed and even just watching him during the game, he is young. He does have that dynamic as well with the players that like, yes, he's a leader. You see that they like appreciate and respect him in that way. But he also seems that he's not too above them and can come down to their level. And I think that's what we're missing from a lot of the coaches that have been around for a long time.
Yeah, right. If we're focusing on younger and younger teams, you can't have that older philosophy of the coaches that we've been seeing, over those years. You gotta change it up and match to what you're trying to develop your team into. So it's a whole different 100%. Strategy. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
This is interesting, and I don't think this is the last time we'll talk about this, because I think you're absolutely right. And playing styles are going to be different, and just the mentality of players, like different generations are now playing on the same team, and they probably have very different mindsets in terms of how to play, how to strategize, how to be on the ice, how to train.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot to talk about. Okay, so for most likely to succeed, I think we've decided it's going to be Capo.
I vote for Capo.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll grow that tooth back too.
I agree with your choices.
Yay! And that's an award we got to keep an eye on. So.
Yeah, we'll have to check in on all of this. And same goes for the next one. Most improved. Who was the most improved over the course of the season?
So I started off talking about it. And so my vote goes to Igor, and not in the way of play. I mean, look, everybody was comparing him to last season. And as a goalie, I argued that a lot, because you don't have the same matchups. You don't have the same players, and everything's different. So a comparison is not really fair, for him. Where I felt he improved was his attitude. And, we watched him kind of recover from being a little bit, what's the word? Like, unsure of himself at times. And we watched him recover, but we also watched him step up like 10 notches in these playoffs, kind of stepping it up for his own team and putting them into their own place. And also, when we see people pushing to the net, he kind of stepped up, and what we feel is out of character because he's just as sweet as everybody else. But when you saw him kind of pushing back on the players, it was a nice level I liked seeing from him. So, and totally unexpected, but much adored. So
and needed. Like, I think he stepped up in a leadership kind of capacity, because I have to say, during the playoffs, like, where was Trouba? We needed like that Trouba helmet throw from November, whenever he did the helmet throw mid-season that really turned things around. We needed that because he wasn't
doing to be on defense. Like that's the reason that that Igor's getting smashed is because the defense, wasn't able to do what they should have done. And so, that makes sense. And I'll tell you something. I don't think he's going to change back. I think we're going to see a new improved Igor coming into next season, and I'm going to keep an eye on that because that's what I want to see. But I have a feeling that he reached a level where he was like, he's determined. We saw his determination, and I think he's going to come in different the next season. So it's not what we were expecting with the category, but that's kind of where I was going with my vote for most improved.
I love that. I think that's great.
I agree. I really like Igor. And I mean, I wasn't paying attention to the Rangers specifically prior to this current season. But even I can see just the change in him over the course of this regular season. His confidence is there, as you said, Christine. I've always been confused why Trouba is the captain. I've certainly seen reasons for him to be captain.
Because his team chose him.
But I mean, I can see it, but I don't always think,
from the other side.
I just don't always think he's a leader. And I think he's a great player, but I don't always think he's a leader. And I can see leadership qualities that are in Igor that, should Trouba disappear, that Igor could take that position.
So you have to have the captain, not my captain award.
Like and it's certainly the way like he stepped up. I don't think he's as hard on himself as he was at the beginning of the season, because I definitely think he carried that a lot. And I think when he's not having the best night, I think that weighs on them as a team more at the end of the season than it did at the beginning. I really think he carried that so much on himself. And it's nice to see.
Yeah, he definitely stepped up. I like that. I like that assessment. I have nobody who has improved for me this year. Absolutely no one. I do have a vote.
Like, I don't really know.
Like Keandre? No.
I have a vote for least improved.
He's only on the first and third periods, and after he gets a penalty, is he most improved. So there was a pattern to that.
I get in trouble if I talk too much shit about Miller, so I will not. But he does have my vote for least improved of the season. We will hopefully he will be back in good form next season and can really think about what he's done over the summer. And which is interesting because my best moment of the season, and I have the next award is best moment of the season. And there were a couple that really stood out to me, but I will give Miller credit because one of the big moments for the season for me was when he scored the game tying goal against the Stars with like 1 second to go back in January. That was a really fun game. That was a really fun moment. I think Christine and I, we were texting, but you were like a second ahead of me. Or I was
the NHL app wasn't updating, and with all these glitches happened, and I kind of thought, is this for real? And it was very exciting. Yeah.
that was a great moment. I'm just going to quickly just go back to our previous one because Gaza is saying Heedle's the most improved player this season. He's scored more goals and got more assists, and he's getting those passes near the crease or at the point. I agree with this for sure. I think Heedle had a really good showing. I wish that lasted into the playoffs. It didn't seem to, but he did have a really good season, and I think it's good that the Rangers have re-signed him.
So he's a runner-up.
He's runner-up. Yes. The other big moment for me, and we just talked about this. I think the Trouba helmet throw was so integral for the Rangers this season to really turn things around. Whether or not what was going through Trouba's head when he did it. But I think that was a really great moment for this team because as you recall in early November, we were talking about what a mess the season was looking like it was shaping up to be. They were losing a lot of games. They were very inconsistent. And that helmet throw put them on a win streak that I think propelled them into a really solid playoff spot.
I agree with that.
And then my third best moment of the season is the back-to-back 6-goal games that the Rangers had, one of which we were at when we were in New York, and then listening to the game the following day when we were flying home.
Yeah, we were all on the play.
Yeah, and they were just scoring like goal after goal. And that Penguins game,
oh God!
Oh man, like we were tired from singing that goal song.
I was talking about that today too. I compared it to somebody at a BTS concert the other night.
Oh my God!
So I'm like, after they score 6 in a row, I'm like, we're like, they're all jumping at the concert. We were doing the same thing. I'm like, I remember turning to Liz and going, oh, like, this is a workout.
Poor Sarah.
You have to hold your beer up. I mean, it's hard.
Oh my God. That was such a tough game to be at. I remember, I'm still running into people that I haven't seen since the New York trip. And they're just like, oh, how was your trip? Like, how was Madison Square Garden? And I'm like, I may never wear another Penguins jersey there again. I loved the experience, but based on that game alone, like that was hard. It was very tough to
next year we'll have to do the Penguins thing, and we'll have to put our lives on the line at the same fashion that you did.
One of my favorite moments of the season,
fair.
And it's not one of my favorite moments, and it's not like ice related, but it's when we were at Mustang Harry's and Trouba's family was in front of us, and I thought they were like wanting to talk to us, but they were just glaring at me in my Malkin jersey. Yes. That was one of my favorite moments. Yeah, I'm like, oh, this is exciting, and then I'm like looking down, I'm like, oh shit. It's because I have my Malkin jersey on, and they just had words last game. Yeah, good time. Yeah.
Well, that actually brings me to my next award. So we're going to agree that all of those win together.
Yeah, it's a tie. Yeah. Those are great.
My next award is for the best double defense moment. So we have been doing this podcast since September of last year. It has been an adventure and a half. We've been, as Christine was saying, 8 different arenas, multiple road trips, multiple games, a lot of alcohol, like so much alcohol. And we've had some really
sponsors now.
Yeah, sponsors or like beverage sponsors. Oh,
yes. Before growing up.
But I had some nominees for best double defense moment that I wanted to share with you. I don't know if you have any others, but among my top moments for just us as a podcast, it was Sarah counting Irish pubs in New York City. Every street we would turn down, she would have, there's another Irish pub on this. Christine talking about when Kachuk scored a goal against the Rangers. This was somewhere mid-season, and she just said that because sucks. I still am laughing about that.
I think I was drunk.
Sitting next to Truba's family in New York with Sarah wearing a Malkin jersey.
God. Yeah.
That really truly was the best moment.
Not for
I wish
them.
we got pictures. I wish we would have got a picture, like a whole group photo with like
Just
a
them
glare,
glare.
I think
like pointing. That would have been the best.
I'll have to find it. I'm certain I took a photo of just sitting there at the table of just all the Truba jerseys, but it's just like us sitting there. Because I know, Christine, you were like right across from me, and
Ted was there.
Ted,
And then,
yes.
Yeah.
And then Liz and her friend were on the other side of me. But yeah, I just remember like sitting there taking a picture because I sent it to my husband being like, this is all of Truba's family.
Yeah.
I got all excited, and then they gave me the stink eye. One of my favorite moments was, quick, Sarah, take your shirt off.
That's my next one.
Never gonna get old ever.
And
And
for
then-
anybody who doesn't know that whole story, we waited to watch the Penguins and the Rangers arrive at Madison Square Garden, and I think it was when Sullivan, so the coach for Pittsburgh, was walking up. Sarah was wearing, it was very cold that day, so she was wearing a shirt over her Penguins jersey.
Oh.
But I wanted to try to get her to get a picture with Sullivan, so I told her to take her shirt off. Only meant in the please take off your shirt so we can see you're wearing a Penguins jersey. But all these people turned to me and they're like, "What did you just ask her to do? Like flash him?"
It's funny.
That was fun. Oh, so maybe he wasn't even looking at me. He was like, "Oh, shirts are coming off." I mean, Mike and I had a moment for like.
Did have a
1
moment.
second.
You did have a moment.
Imagine if he winds up in New York
I
coaching.
know,
He's one of the
like,
names that I've heard
oh.
passed around.
I know, isn't that crazy? Like that blows my mind. I just think it'd be amazing.
We did have some good times, and there will be more to come next season for sure. Especially when the three of us get together and we'll tackle some crazy city that doesn't even know what's coming. Maybe we'll make it up to Calgary. Maybe we'll bug the Canadians for a little bit.
There we go.
We'll definitely keep the tradition of the Rangers Penguins. I guess it'll just depend on where we're going to watch, and then add in a new element each time, which I think is fabulous. So like that's what's most exciting.
I like that. Too. Yeah.
So
and then so those are all going to win too, because again, this is a non-democratic process, and we can do whatever we want. It's our award show. You make your own award show.
Or how about me getting lost in Vegas? Like we had that in there too.
Oh, so. Yes. Christine absolutely got lost in Vegas. I didn't think I'd ever see her again.
Made it to game time, hungover.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I forgot about that. Yeah. Because you and I were trying to I was like on social. I was like all over trying to figure out where she was. I remember that. And then you're like, I'm alive.
I have a reputation for getting lost, apparently.
Especially in
I don't go
Vegas.
far. I really don't go far. I got lost on the city street 2 blocks at a wine tasting thing, and then Vegas. I was like 2 blocks away. So
put an air tag on you. Air tag you.
A little leash.
Okay, so those all win. And finally, to round out our award show, the award for best bromance. There's some nominees here. There's Panasenko, Trugren, it's Trugren Lindgren if you couldn't tell. Panarin and Tarasenko is the other one, and Krybenijad. Is this even a question? Do we even have to? It is definitely going to Krybenijad. Again, I am really imploring whoever is writing the Krybenijad fan fiction. I am desperate. I'm getting close to like writing my own one because you have not posted anything. The only Krybenijad
know that they have all this time on their hands. So
the only Krybenijad fanfic that is the newest one that is posted. Do you guys know, like they'll do like alternative realities where like Chris Kreider and Mika Zibanejad will be in a different scenario. So they won't be them as hockey players. It'll be them like as student and teacher or something like that, or like, oh, they put them into scenarios that it's them, but it's not them. So the current one is called The Colony. It's about a wandering group of survivors in central Massachusetts in the aftermath of a horrible pandemic. So it's sort of like a Walking Dead version of Cribenajed, which I'm so not into. I appreciate for the people who are into it, but I'm just looking for I just need some fluff. I just need them the cuddling to like console each other after a tough season. That's all I need. So please.
Give me like a Twilight, part 3 or whatever of like the Cribenajed, like
something like emotional, with like some
lots
tears,
of kissing and hugging, and
less vampires,
some drama,
no
like
I
emotional
want
drama.
I want to see more of like a soap opera thing. Like I want to see someone try to break into their romance, and how they're going to handle it. Like
Mika's wife.
Who would be like? Well, forget the women, because apparently they don't exist.
They don't exist, and they definitely don't exist in fanfic.
If we were going to see them bring in somebody, or somebody try to break them up, or the side romance, like who would it be?
According to archive of our own, Schneider has a lot to do with it.
Ooh, because he's young and cute.
There's a couple,
and innocent. He's like so
he
innocent.
Is. He's like a little kid.
He's adorable.
He's adorable.
And
I haven't done that yet.
I mean, there's been many. We can go into it. We don't have to.
Maybe over the summer, I think what we need to do is on the stories is just post random little clips in the story that just are teasers for people, and they're just going to be like, "What?" Let's. I think that's a great idea, Or we can go live and do some fan fiction reading a little bit, on Instagram for just a little bit, and just people will tune in.
Just
and
a little
like,
bit.
What?
A little bit here and
just
there.
Everyone tunes in. You're like, "Thank you, bye."
Yeah, I'd be interested to know the analytics on that after, like what the web traffic is to their site after we did something like that, because we could be partners.
We should.
Yeah, we could.
We should discuss.
I'll read that. I will research that more.
That's my work mind coming in. But yeah.
And with that brings us to the conclusion of the first annual Double D-Fense Awards.
Yay,
thank you for attending.
We will put I think we should just highlight our winners and post them on our story, and in a nice cute format, so that so that people know. I think it's cute, because I think a couple other people are having their own awards, so I like to compare, and then maybe in the future collaborate with them as well.
We'll definitely ask the other podcasters who their best fan fiction romances, because I'm sure they're all talking about that. I'm sure they're really going into detail like we are.
Yeah,
well, they don't know what they're missing. See, this is what
we'll get them a subscription. It'll be fun.
So yay, that was all amazing. So what's to watch for now? We are on Coach Watch, right? So
we are officially on Coach Watch 2023. A lot of rumors going around. I think there's been more rumors this week. I have heard Messier's name again popping in there. Laviolette is also up there as one of the top contenders, and a couple of others here and there. I heard Bruce Boudreau. Don't know how likely that is, but I have heard his name too.
Yeah. I think that'd be an interesting move. It's an exciting move because it just shows that my manifesting could be paying off. But I don't think that's the right fit there. I think he could go elsewhere.
And
there was a couple. We did the poll, and it was it was kind of even across the board, for some of those on the poll that we took earlier in the week. So Sullivan, I think, was on the top, and then the Wolf Pack coach too, which they're playing. And by the way, they are still playing. They are still in it. So we do have some baby Rangers, playing for a championship title. So they're still going strong. We're following them and seeing how they're doing. So they're doing an amazing job. And the polls are kind of across the board. So the rumors are flying, and then they're knocking out here one by one. Did you see like last night how Bissonnette they kind of pushed Henrik to take the coaching position? He said no, like it's too much of a time commitment for me, so he's out. so that was kind of cute. And And then I also saw that, Sarah, that you guys, who they hired, Keith Jones for
Did we
your,
already announce it? I missed it.
yeah.
Hmm.
So he's on your staff now. Yay. So that's
Yay.
coming out.
Interesting.
So I have a feeling that we won't see a new, like there won't be, the rumors are going to fly, but I think they're also waiting to see like what kind of pans out of like the playoffs.
I think
don't
so
think
too.
we're going to need a seasoned coach. And I think, well, the other thing is they're already 2 steps ahead of the rumors. So, so
it'll also be interesting to see if Gallant ends up somewhere next season and where that could potentially be.
What are the rumors up there for replacing Sutter? Anything going on?
I haven't, aside from internal, which sounds like it almost sounds 50-50. It could be somebody internal that's been there in the assistant coaching role for a long time. Other than that, it's kind of similar to New York. There's a whole bunch of speculation. Nobody to me is coming to mind. I think if you were to bring someone like Bruce Boudreau here, it's a softer approach to what you already had, but I don't necessarily think that's the answer. I think it's more the younger style that we were talking about earlier. But I don't know who that could be if it's not the guy that they're talking about internally, and I can't think of his name. But it's nobody recognizable, in my opinion.
Oh. They were talking about that too. That was one of the rumors too. After they fired a couple other staffs. So so let's see. The rumors were, as we kind of go through our summer, we're going to come up on the draft thing too. We can talk about there was controversy with that because they did the draft off camera, and there's controversy about why they do that. Why these picks come off camera. I think there was some controversy in the third team pick getting announced early, a little too early. So
there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there about things being pre-planned and scripted.
Yeah, and with Chicago winning, winning the Bedard,
Connor Bedard,
And did you hear they're putting a cap on the season tickets because now everything's being sold. But I'm also hearing rumors that they might trade him. So, can you imagine all these people that are purchasing all their season tickets to watch this guy kind of come and play and bring their team up, and then he gets traded?
the one guy from Columbus who bought the Quick jersey in the 14 minutes that Quick was on Columbus before he got traded again.
Think about what that's worth, though, right?
The whole $2. And some memories for a minute. It happens,
It does happen. Well, thank you, ladies, again. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
And we will revisit everything next week. If you guys have any thoughts on any of our annual Double D-Fense awards, please let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts of who should be in the running for our very selective awards.
Always. So until we meet again, ladies.
All right.
Let's wish all the playoffs. There's some great games tonight. We got one moving on, and by the time we meet again, they'll all have moved on. So into the next round. So 8 will become 4 in just a few days, and we get closer to seeing who's going to get crowned. And with just real quick on a closing note, with the Devils out now, I think the Canes now have the most recent win. So we are still looking at 3 of these teams that have never won a Stanley Cup before, and so I think it's getting a little bit more exciting. We're going to teams that haven't been in the spotlight for a very long time. So unfortunately, if it's not us, we'll kind of root for, I think, who deserves it the most. And as we get closer, that'll be something we talk about. It's it's how that team's played, up until that level, and where we're going to end up with the 2 that remain and the 1 that takes it all. I'm excited. And the pressure's off. I don't really care who. It's exciting. As long as the games are good, I don't care. It's a fun. One game was good last night. One game was kind of boring, but it was kind of exciting. And so I'm hoping tonight's game is just as fun. I'm going to keep tabs on it. Everybody wants us to be Leafs fans, and for the moment until they're not there anymore. So So go Leafs, go whoever, go everybody.
Go team. Go Wolfpack. Go Nordiques.
There
Go
you go.
Nordiques.
Woo!
All right. I have to run, ladies.
Have a great day, guys.
Okay, have a good one. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.